That's going to fix itself.
This the War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out smackdowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
I'm all ready. I'm battle tested. This the story of a fighter who's got nothing to lose. Battle tested. Next opponent he choose will be left broken and bruised. Just me and my crew, we battle tested. Coming for everything and you know we'll wreck it. Let the first warrior stronger than me take a shot at coming here to try to brawl with me. I'm ready for war.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the War Report After Dark. Big Bronson Reed is back. We'll get into that. We'll talk a little Saturday night's main event, some SmackDown, some Raw, some Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, whole lot to cover, NXT, TNA, a lot going down. Welcome to another edition. But Bronson Reed back in a big way. I was always pretty high on Bronson Reed. And again, we'll dive more into that as we get on. But fucking awesome. Vince, how's everything with you?
I'm doing great, man. Ready to get into it. I don't know if anybody else watched it, but I watched AEW Double or Nothing, so I'm ready to talk about that. If nobody, you or Al, or whoever pops on, doesn't talk about it, I got it covered. And of course, David Rosca, the floor is yours.
David Rosca, good friend over at YouTube. Obafemi is a beast as NXT champion. Well, listen, that's something I won't disagree with. He is a beast, no matter champion or not. He's just an absolute monster. Yeah, AEW. I'll let you take the reins on that too. I know kind of ballpark what happened, but I did not watch the actual show. Bronson Reed needs the Intercontinental Championship. I can see that coming down the line.
Yeah, very possibly. I mean, I think the more titles that those guys can have, the more credibility they have, especially because every heel group just seems to be like, aside from the Bloodline, not really like prestigious. Like the Judgment Day are heels, but they're kind of like fucking goofballs. And like the Wyatt Six, are they heels? Are they baby faces? I mean, people cheer for them, but they do bad things. So I think Seth's group...
so did Bray Wyatt in The Fiend.
Well, exactly.
But...
So Seth's group, what I'm saying is Seth's group, I think, in order to really establish the two other guys, too, they should get maybe tag team gold. They should get individual singles gold. Something, man. They should... The group looks good. They would look better with championship belts.
There was a shot when they were all standing together. They do look good together. I like Bronson in the group. It's weird in a way because Bronson's last feud before getting hurt and going away was Seth Rollins. They kind of touched on that a little bit on Raw. But I do like the look. I like Bronson to be able to learn from Paul Heyman directly, same as Braun Breaker. You got two young guys under Seth Rollins and Heyman. It's a great stable. I like the look. I still think the music has to change.
Yeah.
Rollins' music, because the sing-along's got to stop. It's minor, but
no,
I think that should go. But I do like what they're doing, and I really do think, as of right now, I think Rollins is your pick for Money in the Bank right now.
Yeah.
Because it gives validity to the group. It gives them momentum. You know, something big has to happen with them.
And it's also, that's interesting if you give them the Money in the Bank. It gives Seth the Money in the Bank. Because now he's got these two enforcer guys. You know when he comes to cash in, he's not coming alone.
Right.
Now he's, it's not just Seth running out there. Like, he's got backup this time. He's kind of one step ahead, because I don't unless Jimmy and Jay do something grand, I feel like Jay could get cashed in on pretty easily in the next couple months.
You know what? I think there's so much momentum behind him right now that I think they keep the belt on him. And I'm okay with it. I like him as champion. I like everything they're doing with him, to be honest. To me, there's people that are thinking he's like a B-plus player. I think he's doing it all right. And it looks like they are setting up another Jay Gunther match. So I think that's just inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a rematch. The thing is, though, if you're not putting the title back on Gunther, you have to find a way that Gunther loses the match, doesn't get pinned. So I think what they're going to end up doing is Gunther's rematch is really going to be a triple threat with Logan Paul, and then Logan Paul can get pinned, and then nobody gives a shit because it's not one of the main regular full-time roster guys.
Right.
I don't know.
Logan Paul.
Right, and it saves Gunther because you don't want Gunther going one-on-one against Jay and then losing again twice in a row. Would be a bad look.
Definitely not submission.
That would be crazy. I still don't get that. They should have done. He should have passed out in that fucking thing. Like, that's crazy. The first time he goes for the choke, I'm done complaining about WrestleMania, but goddamn, the first time the guy goes for the choke in his entire life, he's never put a rear naked choke on before, and he tapped. Like, if he tried it like a couple times, I don't know. I know he tried it one other time in the match. He kind of got thrown off, but it was like there was no precedent set that Jay was suddenly a Brazilian jiu-jitsu master. I was just like, where did this come from?
So overall, Saturday night's main event, I thought it was a great show. I mean, it's Saturday night's main event. I feel like I always get what I'm expecting out of it. Bronson Reed was a nice bonus because nobody saw that coming.
Right.
I love Jesse Ventura being back. I love the old school Saturday night feel.
Jesse Ventura, he says, "Why? What are you doing? Why did he walk out of the cage? You can't walk out of a cage match. That's some BS right there, Michael Cole. Why do you have to walk out?"
That really is good. That's a great impression.
And I love Jesse for it because Jesse is like, he's saying what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, and he still does it exactly the same way that he did then. You know what I mean?
Right. I was waiting. Shut up, Shivani. It's like, nope, wrong channel. Sorry.
And he gives no fucks because even during the announcing in the main event, he was talking over it. And you can tell the other two were trying to really
funny.
He didn't care. He kept going and going. But I what?
Jesse being Jesse, basically.
Yeah, Jesse being Jesse. But overall, I think it was a good show. It started off hot, right? So it started with the tag team match with Rollins and Breakker versus Heyman, or Sami Zayn and Punk. So that's a good way to start the show. That match was great. I mean, it really had everything in it. Those guys can all go. The pop for CM Punk was just insane. But yeah, overall, I think that was a great way to start the show.
Yeah, I think the one criticism, if I could call it, if you can call it that, is Seth Rollins talked for way too long after the other guys. It's like, I understand they have as much time as they want on Netflix, but come on, guys, this is not the Triple H era. We don't need a 20-minute promo opening up the show. Let's go.
Right.
just a little bit, like a little bit of hustle, because I feel like Seth goes out there and is just like, what are we gonna do tonight, boys? And he's just kind of walks around the ring. He just gets his feet wet a little bit and then walks around. It's like, come on, dude, let's just get to the meat of the promo. Just get there.
He is long-winded, I guess is the nice way of saying it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the diplomatic way of saying it. The boy is definitely long-winded.
Chelsea Green versus Zelina for the U.S. title. Again, I said this, I think it was last week, and I'm going to say it again, but is it me, or does Zelina get absolutely no crowd reaction?
I thought you were going to say, does she get worse every week? And the answer is yes.
Well, she had that one mishap with the 619. I think Zelina
nose.
Is it confirmed that it's broken?
I mean, that's what Chelsea said after the match. She's like on Twitter. She's like, the referee told me I had to immediately go to medical. She's like, why? He said, well, your nose is broken. You have to go to medical. So I mean, shit's broken.
Oh, listen, this is wrestling. It happens. But
I know, but
Chelsea was great in that match.
Oh, she's fantastic.
I honestly thought that they might actually give it back to her.
They should. They should. I don't understand. I know Aleister Black came back on that SmackDown, and giving her the title, that same SmackDown he debuted, could just be a happy coincidence. But it could also be a, hey, he's back from AEW after 3 years. You're married to him. The whole reason he left was this whole kerfuffle with you and him getting released and rehired and shit. So, like, I don't want to say this is a thank you U.S. Championship Women's title reign, but it kind of is like a thank you kind of thing, like a make good, but it's not. There's no direction to it. It's not doing anybody any favors. It's not doing her any favors, and it's definitely not doing Chelsea any favors because she was the hottest act. The whole act was based on her being the U.S. champion, so she could do the president thing. Like there was a whole nuance to it that maybe they just didn't understand. Like, oh, we can still do this gimmick after the title's lost. No, you can't. It's the U.S. title. She's acting like the president. That's the whole thing. I
think she's doing a great job with it, even though
she is. But I just don't.
But,
you know what I mean, though, Steve. It's like
no, I do.
It loses a little something when she's not actually like the U.S. champion. It's like the president thing seems silly when that's the case.
I like the secret Hervis. I love that.
Oh, they're hilarious. I love everything about it. I really do. And Chelsea, you know, like, and it's always said time and time again, but Chelsea makes the most out of every opportunity that she has, and that's why she succeeds. I think she'll get the belt back eventually.
Oh, I think so too. I think it'll be short order. It should have been Saturday night's main event, frankly. So, not that I'm not saying it was a bad show. Obviously, it was. You know, the one criticism I heard was a lot of ads, but
there were a lot of ads.
I think a title change, even if it's going back to a heel, would have been an exciting thing to put on a essentially free show on network TV and Peacock. Or was it on NBC or was it?
It was on NBC.
Well, put a title change on there, make it exciting. I don't know. I feel like I know what they were doing. They put a cage match in. There were a lot of big stuff happened, but a title change on cable or on network TV instead of cable or streaming, that's kind of a big deal.
I know I'm a little late. Is everybody in agreement? I'm assuming that she didn't get the belt back.
Right, she should have.
If there was one title change, then it should have definitely been that. The crowd popped when she came out. There was no aura for Zelina. Look, I love it. Beautiful story. Latina woman wins a U.S. championship. She's gonna go as the second champion all time. Great. The story's over though. Like we're done with it. Like that needs to move on. There's nothing being built with Zelina. Yet you have this whole Miss USA, and she has the Secret Service with her, and you're gonna have her keep losing. Like something's got to give, man. Like we got to move on from that.
Yeah, I agree. But I'll tell you one title change that we knew was not happening.
No.
John Cena versus R-Truth.
Was that for the title or was it non-title?
It was non-title.
It was non-title.
It was non-title. It was non-title.
He was
so
they had to do that to make you think R-Truth had a chance.
Right. Exactly.
Was that the highest profile squash match in the history of wrestling, or what?
I mean, it's got to be
Cena.
up there.
Brock Cena,
Brock Cena. So here's and I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate with this one too. So on one hand, I totally get having R-Truth against John Cena, and I loved everything about it to a point, and I'll go into that more. But we also have very limited time with John Cena.
Yeah.
Was that a wasted opportunity for something bigger and more high profile? even though this was more of like a comic relief type of spot. Because the fact that, number one, he comes out with his own John Cena shirt, except John Cena is now R-Truth.
It's
in the
Ron
shirt.
Ron Cena.
It's
That
Ron
correct?
Cena, which is great, and the shirt is available. I checked on Shop, but great. But like he came out, did his entrance, did the John Cena entrance. He did all of John Cena's, spots.
He did the
Like,
five
it
knuckle
was-
shuffle thing, the
Yeah,
whole missed
like
the
it was
punch and-
entertaining. But at the same time, now you used that one spot. You know what I mean? But I enjoyed it. But
I think it was a couple things. It was getting Ron, the real guy, not just R-Truth, but Ron Killings, getting him a match with Cena after whatever. He's been in the business for most of his life. I don't know if they've really ever touched. And if it wasn't anything real significant. Oh, it was Miz and R-Truth against him and The Rock. So I guess that was a big deal. Survivor Series 2011. But that since then, and Capital Punishment. Oh God, he was smoking indoors. Anyway, that was the biggest push he ever got. Was right around that time in 2011, ish. Since then, I mean, he's been a comedy character. So maybe this is again just like a thank you thing. It wasn't a bad match. Like the whole idea was that they played off this R-Truth saying John Cena was his childhood hero, even though obviously mathematically does not work out.
But that's what makes it so great.
Right, and that's what makes it. But the other thing that makes it is R-Truth himself, because he sells it. He believes it. He put so much meaning into being a John Cena fan. It's almost like speaking for the fans who are in the crowd, who are still Cena fans but disappointed in what he's doing. So it was R-Truth against John Cena, but it was also kind of John Cena versus everybody in the crowd who still supports John Cena in air quotes, but also doesn't like the person he's become. So it was like kind of a meta commentary thing. And then of course he just kicked him right in the pee-pee, and that was the end of the match, which, I could have told you.
I truly believe this story will wrap back around. I think when John Cena eventually turns back to a face, because I see there's no way John Cena's retiring a heel. I don't think
I
it'll make
agree.
sense. So I think this whole Ron thing is not the last we'll see of the story, and I think he'll be a big part and a key centerpiece of John Cena becoming a face again. And I think the whole thing of him coming out to his own song and people actually not singing his song, but not singing the John Cena sucks, is something that'll reminisce in the future, him coming back. That's why I don't think it was a waste of a match. And also keep in mind, John Cena is an actor. The less wear and tear on him, the better. If you put him there with a high profile guy, he can't get rid of him in 5 minutes. So you needed a match like this.
I mean, that's true. And like I said, it was enjoyable. Anything with R-Truth is enjoyable anyway. So,
Yes, sir.
Jasim over at YouTube. What's going on, man? Thanks for stopping in.
Jasim.
I'm still happy because I got PS2 and I got SmackDown versus Raw 2011. I'm going to play Road to WrestleMania, relive the good old days. He's very happy to play it. That was a good game.
That's the right spot. All those PS2 era and like Xbox 360 era wrestling games, I think those are the best. Those and the N64.
Nintendo Genesis, right, or something like that. Wasn't that one? That was.
There was a Sega Genesis. There was the N64. The N64 had
No Mercy.
No Mercy. That's what I'm
that's,
thinking. No
that's the
Mercy.
best. That No Mercy is the best one of those. And then
I love the old school Survivor Series one. Was it
Yeah,
Survivor
that
Series or
one's
Royal
good,
Rumble?
too.
I think it was that one. Yeah, it was so good.
Survivor Series and Royal Rumble for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, right.
I had it for Sega, but yeah, it was that. It
Yeah.
was that version. I had it for Sega Genesis.
It was 2D. It wasn't 3D, right? It was like
it
wasn't.
There weren't even cell phones out yet. There was pages.
Right,
so
that's what I'm
pretty
saying.
sure
Yeah,
it was 2D.
I love
This
those
is like
games, yeah.
I'm talking like mid '90s.
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
showing
those were-
I'm showing my age.
Those were on Sega and Nintendo. Yeah.
The
Oh,
reason
I'll
why
show you
I'm
my
getting
age.
the reason why I'm getting it is because I feel like all of the stuff in 2011 2K should put all the old stuff in the new games. For instance, THQ, that was the best company. I mean, listen, he's not wrong. THQ was the shit. Although I do have to say, the latest, like last year's and this year's game, I'm a very big fan. So, I mean, the graphics are still what they are. The shit you can do now versus what you could do then was great. But for the time, THQ was the shit.
Did you see? There are these videos online now of, I guess because the 2K WWE 2K is available on PC, you can do all these like modifications and like they have. I saw one where Homer Simpson chokeslam Godzilla off the Hell in a Cell through like 30 tables.
Oh, I saw that too.
It's crazy. Like they're just doing the most crazy shit you can think of now with this game. Now they can put it on PC, do all the mods. Peter Griffin. I saw there was a really good Peter Griffin, like cartoon accurate Peter Griffin. Crazy.
That's funny. Back to Saturday night's main event: steel cage match. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest.
So apparently, Drew is taking a little bit of a vacation. He's a little banged up, and he's taking a rest. Honestly, and I think he just signed an extension with them. It's time, bro. AEW is calling. Drew would be a main eventer in a fucking second in AEW, and in WWE, they're just taking this guy for granted and jobbing him the fuck out.
I mean, but what else are you going to do with him right now? You can't put him back in the world title. He's a great talent.
But it seems like every big feud, he ends up on the lose. Like, he'll have he'll have great matches, and he might win a couple in the feud, but he ends up, at the end of it, not being the winner.
I'm gonna tell you what. I've been happy with all his feuds, and I didn't mind him taking the L's because I feel like Drew's one of those guys. He's a made guy. We know what he's about, and him losing to Seth Rollins and all those guys. For me, it didn't take the credibility away from him. However, I do feel a little upset about him losing the best out of 3 with Damian Priest.
And
not
the
to
way.
take any. What happened?
The way it happened for
And
me.
the way he loses, like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, like, don't get me wrong. I don't know if it's the size of Damian Priest or it's the fact that's another Latin guy that they could put out there and represent Spanish people, which I'm all for it. But I still think he's a step or maybe 2 behind Drew McIntyre. You know, like
Right.
for me, like he's no more than, and pun intended, he's no more than a Razor Ramon at best. As far as Damian Priest, I'm talking about. And I feel Drew McIntyre is well over that. And if he is going to lose and put people over, it has to be people that are going straight to the main event or going for a championship title match. Because I think you pay this guy way too much. He's too great on the mic and in the ring, and he does everything you ask him to do. He's a real company man. So I don't know. If you're gonna make him lose, man, let him lose to certain people, but not a guy like that, in my opinion.
Right. And I understand you have, you lose on your way out when you're taking time off or whatever. Makes sense. But also, like, gosh, just the fact that he got laid out, Damian walks out of the cage. He doesn't have to climb it. He doesn't choke him out. He doesn't tap him out. He doesn't pin him. The ref opens the door and he just walks out of the cage. And I think that's
have
the
a
thing that
question.
bothers me the most.
I didn't see many attempts to try to climb the cage in that match. Could that be part of his injury? They didn't want to put no like high risk maneuvers or something. Because I heard
Possible.
after
I don't
heard
know
it
what
was
the extent of his injuries are. But
And I didn't see anything specific, just that he was like banged up.
It
That
was
was
just
the
that-
reason.
He has a hard time moving his neck a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's a
maybe
problem.
that's the point. They didn't want to take high risk maneuvers, but like it was a
Yeah.
very dull. Like they should have made it a no DQ instead of a cage match because they didn't do nothing to use the cage. Like something else would have made more sense.
Right. Oh, I agree. I love a good cage match. Not that it, again, these guys did what they did with the limitations they were given. The finish left something to be desired for me. That's just it. It does make Damian look strong, but it makes Drew look weak. And there's a way to make Damian look strong without devaluing Drew. And I don't know if they maximized the potential of that finish.
And the thing is this, right? Great. Damian looks strong. He beats one of the better heels. What
Right.
are you doing with him now? Because that's the thing. Like, do you have plans for him? Like, and it's again, like you just said it, Steve. Like, Well, where could we put Drew in a championship picture? Well, where the hell could we put Damian Priest in a championship picture? I can't
Well,
even
that's
see
true.
Damian Priest being a U.S. champion right now.
Oh wow, not
Like,
even U.S., huh?
and well, I mean, look who's holding the U.S. title. Like for me, the U.S.
Right.
title right now is as important, or maybe more important, than the World Heavyweight Championship because of who's holding it.
Yeah, Jacob needs to keep that for as long
Yeah.
as possible.
Jacob should only lose that when Solo costs him the belt.
Right. Or Jeff Cobb, one of the two.
Mm.
Jasim over YouTube. I heard rumors that now that Bronson Reed is with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, that Triple H is trying to bring Dean Ambrose back to WWE to team up with Roman Reigns to take them down and start a brand new faction. So I listen. I've been hearing Dean Ambrose rumors for a long time, and everything I'm hearing from Dean Ambrose or
He's
Mox
not doing
is that he has no desire to come back. He's happy where he is.
He's all
a
set.
main event player. Khan is taking care of him. He's not looking to come back. I am hearing, though, that Roman is coming back not alone and possibly starting some new kind of Shield 2.0 to go after Rollins, but I hope they leave the Shield aspect of it out, quite honestly.
They don't have to call it the Shield. They
Right.
shouldn't call it the Shield.
Don't have
because
that music, don't,
what you end up doing when you make something like that is then everybody will compare it to the old thing. And the old thing was so good, and then it was long ago, so nostalgia kicks in. So it's twice as good as it was. As you know, it's better in your mind than it might have actually been in reality. But now, so in your head, the Shield were the fucking bomb. And then if you have the Shield 2.0, and it's like, gosh, I hate to be like, if it's Ethan Page and Ricky Starks, or if it's like, you know what I mean? If it's like Trick Williams and Oba Femi, or like, Cameron Grimes and Van Wilder, or whatever that fucking guy's name was. It's like, you can't, with Roman, you can't have it that way. You can't call that the Shield 2.0. Come up with a new name.
I'm sure they'll come out with a new name. I mean, I think it'll be a recipe for disaster as long as you put the Shield 2.0 on anything. The only way you could bring the Shield back is with the 3 original members. Point blank.
Agreed.
That's
Or
it.
Kurt Angle.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That one time Kurt Angle, he was wearing the vest. He has no idea. He's like, hey.
Yes, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle will accept any day of the week.
That's funny. Heavyweight championship match: Jey Uso versus Logan Paul. I mean, listen. Again, we say it every time. Logan Paul can go. He's entertaining. I enjoy him. I do. And I like the match. I like how Cena got involved. I mean, Cody's back now. So they're bringing him back into the fold. So does this ultimately tell us that eventually that this is what they're going to do, and that Cena, when he loses the title, is going back to Cody?
I mean, that's probably always been the plan. But for
I
me,
hope to God, no.
I just think they should Money in the Bank cash in something. I just think, or listen, if Cody has to beat Cena to feel good about himself and sleep at night, have him beat Cena and then have somebody cash in fucking immediately. Because I'm sorry, Cody. Here's what happened. You hyped up finishing the story. You won the title. You finished the story, and then there was no more story to tell. And for the last year, he dragged the title on with 9 defenses in over 12 months, and then had what was considered the most boring match of the weekend at WrestleMania. He went away for a little while. Honestly, not long enough. I think he should have been gone until fucking SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
And then you can because, like, as Bruce Pritchard used to say, how can I miss you if you won't go away? There's just been Cody overload, and I know he's the hot hand, and you got to have him back on TV and everything. But this is like the same thing when Punk went away, and he stole the title, and he was back like the next week. We thought Punk was going to be gone for like a month with this title, going to Ring of Honor, going to these other indie promotions and defending the title. None of that happened. It's just like, let it breathe. Cody's going to be there for a long time. He's not going back to AEW. He can come back whenever. You can reheat him, and he'll be just as hot as when he came. Look, he got a good reaction when he came back out. So imagine that reaction with 2 or 3 more months worth of anticipation at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam would have been the place to do it.
If there was a roof, I don't think it's a stadium show. The roof would have blown off. You know what I mean? Like,
Mitch would have been the only person booing him.
Probably. Jasim over at YouTube, super excited about Cody Rhodes' new podcast. What do you want to talk about? I feel like, what do you want to talk about? What a hilarious hit phrase until it became a podcast. I mean, I don't think I'm going out of my way to listen to Cody's podcast.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. It's Story Time with Adam Cole, baby. That's the podcast I want to listen to. We're just doing. No, I want. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, and then he just does restaurant reviews. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Everybody's got a podcast.
Monday Night
Busted
Raw.
Open.
What about
What is
Busted
go-
Open?
Nothing's going to quite compare to Busted Open.
No, but what is Cody going to talk about on his fucking podcast? Like, what else? Cody talks for 60 minutes on a 3-hour show. We get it. You've talked for the whole week whenever you're on SmackDown. Like, there's no reason. Cody needs to talk less, not more. He's not understanding the assignment. Could you imagine the Let Me Tell You Something Brother podcast with Hulk Hogan, and he just talks about his feuds? It would, A, I would listen. B, it would be a shit show. And C, if fucking Cody and if it's Conrad and Cody, stick a finger down my throat and gag me with it. Holy fuck. Cody and Conrad Thompson, I would rather get oral surgery with no numbing.
That's hilarious.
And I don't mind Conrad, but Cody, chat me up a little bit. Tell me about this WrestleMania 41 gimmick while I pitch mortgages to you. You can save with Conrad.com. There's a free plug for you, Fanny.
Well, I think the first podcast is with Brandy.
Oh, of course it is.
Right.
He has to shoehorn her into everything. Oh, my God. Wait, when is her podcast? It's not open mic night, bitch, going to be?
She's probably.
That was so
I mean, I
funny.
saw a little skit of it, and it's all about them talking about how great it was for him to show up at WrestleMania, and he thought they were gonna boo him, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not watching this shit. There's no way I'm watching this shit. I heard the story for the last 2 years in the fucking ring. Like, come
Yeah,
on
we're
now.
good. We're good. So Monday Night Raw, Rollins kicks it off with his new faction. It was a great segment. It's a great way to start. Then they had the Money in the Bank qualifier, Penta, Dragon Lee, Chad Gable.
Greatest match of the weekend.
That match was awesome. There was
That match had
there was a
so many
scary spot
spots.
in that match though.
Yeah, there was.
There was that one spot where they dropped Gable right on his face.
Yeah.
That could have been horrible.
That was pretty bad.
But
Oh,
that
dude,
match
he
was
got
great.
dropped. He got dropped on his head like twice in that match.
Yeah, but
Even when they
the
did
one I'm
German
talking about was the
suplex.
worst.
No, was it the German or was it the Mexican? There was something that they did that he landed like
Yeah.
right on his neck.
There
and
was
he
like
kicked out.
there was a pile driver or something, and he just landed. Whoa,
Oh, it
boy.
looked bad. But that move when he took not Ray Phoenix, not Penta, but the other one. What's his name? The other little one,
Dragon Lee.
Dragon Lee, and he like threw him over his head into a turnbuckle. That was fucking awesome. And then he does the double suplex, and he does it slow. That was even great. It was just such a great match.
Jasim over at YouTube, I feel like Seth Rollins needs to change his theme song because if he's a heel, it doesn't make sense keeping him with the same theme song and have the fan. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I've been saying
agree.
that since
I don't
he
agree.
turned.
I
How
do
do you not agree? How do you
I
not
do
agree?
not agree.
Explain that.
Because he's not a heel.
He
He's
is
not
a heel.
He's not a heel. He's not a heel. He's the savior of the company. He is the savior.
he had
of the
Paul Heyman
future.
turn on. There were two baby faces that Paul Heyman turned on to be with him. There were two shots at baby faces in that match.
I mean,
And
Braun Breaker was never a babyface.
no,
Braun
I'm saying
Breaker-
between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, two baby faces, and Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman picked the heel. So wouldn't that mean that if the two baby faces were betrayed and he goes with the bad guy, that they're also like they're bad guys?
He traded for the future because Paul Heyman makes no mistakes.
How long are we
And
going to
I-
call Seth Rollins the future for? Because he's been there for fucking 20 years.
Yeah, but he hasn't had this.
It's a fair
spotlight,
point.
though. He hasn't had the spotlight.
He hasn't had the
doesn't have the-
spotlight. He was
This one.
against the Authority. He came back from a knee injury and everybody popped. Then he turned heel and joined him. He was their champion for like a year and a half.
Well, that was like the real heel Rollins. I feel like this one is like in the gray area, and actually, I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
Oh, I like this fact. I think this faction's great. I think if it ultimately gets these other two guys over because they're younger, like Seth, not that he's on his way out, but there's going to come a time where Seth Rollins is going to retire, and it's going to be before those other two guys. So he's got to prep. He's got to prep those guys for the fucking main event, and they're both of them are right there. You know what I mean? Bronson Reed is kind of there and almost there. Not he's like an IC title if we're talking about levels, IC US title. And Braun Breaker is at the top of the US IC title, scratching world title right now. I think he's just under that rung of world title, like serious world title contender. And I think this, if they do it right, can get him there.
Paul Heyman gave us the answer yesterday. He said Braun Breaker will be the main eventer of WrestleMania 45, 46, 47. So that gives you, what, a 3-year run with Rollins being the man? That's what it seems like what they said, in a way.
Yeah, but I would almost like, so if they don't go with Jacob winning Money in the Bank, which, hey, I feel like they should, and Jacob dethroning John Cena by the end of the year would be great. If they go with Rollins, they should eventually, those guys help Rollins win, and then they have the Batista with Evolution moment, the old thumbs down, and then you get a feud between Breaker and Rollins where Breaker wins, and then that puts him over. So I feel like that maybe that's kind of the trajectory of this group over the next.
See, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling is going to go down is, I think, if Rollins doesn't win Money in the Bank, then I think Solo wins. And they're going to cost Jacob the match, which is now going to officially separate Jacob. Jacob's got the U.S. title, and then you have either Solo, and then you have Solo do the Money in the Bank, or you give it to Rollins, let Rollins hold it, and now you just have that feud for the U.S. title between Solo and Jacob.
I think Solo's going to cost Jacob the belt, and on his way of doing that, he's going to take himself out of the match. Or Jacob will fuck him up and take him out of the match himself, and it's just going to leave Rollins to take the briefcase. That's what I feel. And if Solo wins the briefcase, I want to see the first cash in on a U.S. Championship title.
Solo's not. There was an attempted U.S. Championship cash in, but it was failed. That was Austin Theory, and he lost to Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There was only one, but it hasn't been successful. So this would be the first successful U.S. Championship cash in. But go for the world title, man. Have some balls. Even if you know you're going to lose. Like, if you're going to lose, you're going to lose. But at least you fucking fought the world champ. You got a main event out of it. Let's go.
Yeah, but so, where's the story on that? If he takes it from his brethren, and now he's haunting him from here to fucking when WrestleMania, I'm assuming, or whatever the case.
No, I know. Just in the mind of like, if you were handed the Money in the Bank briefcase,
Universal title, I wouldn't even think about the copycat Monday Night title.
There we go.
Yeah, 100%.
That's just, I know, storyline wise, sometimes you got to tell the story, but realistically, if you're handed that briefcase, you're like, I'm going for the big one, man. I might lose. I might get my balls kicked into my throat by John Cena, but I'm going to give it a shot, man. And, oh, man. We'll get into all that other stuff later. Al, did you watch, until Steve comes back, just real quick, did you watch Double or Nothing?
I didn't watch the match, but I went on YouTube and saw the highlights. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you what, that Kenny Omega and what's his name, Ospreay match. Holy shit, could those guys go?
Hangman Ospreay?
Hangman, I'm sorry.
Dude,
Hangman and Ospreay. Man, could those guys go.
I'll recap the AEW stuff in a minute, but like when we're done with Raw, but that was
I was highly surprised that Ospreay didn't go over though. So
I'm one of those people as well.
A lot of people were surprised.
Which I don't mind, because usually in wrestling everything's pre-predicted and we kind of know what's going on, so I didn't mind that. But it was weird. I definitely thought Ospreay was going to be the next man up, but hey, shit happens.
Yeah. What else happened on Raw here, Steve?
Well, so Liv Morgan returns in a funny backstage segment with the Judgment Day, and Roxanne rubbing Dom's shoulder while offering him nuggies. So things are getting interesting within the Judgment Day even more. But then you had the squash match between Tozawa and Rusev, which went exactly how anyone would have expected it would.
Yeah, of course.
It was really just a way to now set up a feud that we've seen years ago, and that's Rusev Sheamus, which they always did put on some decent matches, so that should be entertaining.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm hoping for I don't want to say big things from Rusev, but this is going to be Rusev's test to see if he's back and he's serious about it and he's taking this wrestling thing serious again, or if he's just going to like hang out and play video games on Twitch like he did his entire AEW career. You know what I mean? Like I want to know that this guy was just like, you know what, AEW was a paycheck for me until I got back to WWE, and now I'm actually going to try. I just want him to try. Just fucking try, Rusev. Try a little bit.
I mean, he's been a force, so hopefully.
Yeah, and I think this is the first a marquee match like that against an opponent like Sheamus is a big opportunity to kind of remind old fans and show fans who might have missed out on him what he can do.
And he'll go over on Sheamus for sure.
Oh yeah, for 100. He's another one of those guys like Drew. What we're talking about. Sheamus could lose 1,000 matches in a row, and he'll come out and challenge somebody like, yeah, he could win.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time Sheamus won a match though?
Oh, it was probably like in 2006.
It's been so long.
He wins. It's just very seldom. Triple threat for the tag team titles. The New Day versus the War Raiders versus the Creed brothers. I mean, that match was also fantastic. That's up there.
Match.
That's also up there as one of the matches of the week. And I enjoyed the finish and how, the New Day kind of kept the Creed brothers thinking like they were working together the whole time. And as soon as they found that opportunity, the roll up for the pin. So
Yeah.
I really am enjoying the New Day.
Wait, could we rewind a little bit? I just thought about it. So there's a lot more going on in this Money in the Bank match with Roseanne Perez and Liv Morgan.
Roxanne.
Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan. I truly think this is where you see Dirty Dom switch to his third girl.
Oh, you think
You don't think I really
it's gonna
do.
be,
I feel like Roxanne is gonna cause Liv the match, or they're gonna get in a rift, and they're gonna go on their own separate battle, and he's gonna have to make a decision. And I think he's gonna go with the hot hand.
I kind of don't disagree with that.
or would it be that? So here's some of the kind of variables or different ways we could go with this. If that's the case, you could almost have like Finn and Liv get back together, like originally. That was like they were an on-screen thing before Liv and Dom.
Yes. Mhm.
So you could have the splits, everything split, and then Roxanne goes with Dom, and then you have Liv with Finn, or you keep Liv and Dom together. They're baby faces. They leave Judgment Day, and it's Roxanne and Finn together in the Judgment Day, and then maybe you bring in some new people because Finn's Dom's a baby face now. He kind of doesn't fit in with the group. They're teasing dissension, so something's going to happen, but who knows?
I mean, he's not really a baby face, but the crowd is cheering him more than ever. So
I don't think I'm gonna like Liv as a babyface simply because her antics in the ring, like when she goes in the corner to give her the 5 count and she comes screaming in
Right.
the referee's face. Like if you notice, the crowd's even doing her "I know," and they started doing that now with her too. So I don't know. I think you keep it a heel matchup as far as you can, but I definitely see the split. They've been brewing it for a while, and
And Finn-
something that happened in the later match, right? That with the slide of the chair and Dom
Right,
kinda
there was
in
that
the
women's
middle.
match where
So Rollins goes over. Like, are they teasing that maybe Rollins and Roxanne can move? Dominic and Roxanne can move to Rollins' group. Like, who knows? Like, they need a girl, and they need the weak guy that always gets over by cheating, and that fits perfect in that brute team. Like, I don't see that being a bad stable if you add 2 more people to it. Give them a girl that's an upcoming girl, and you give them the hottest Intercontinental Champion there is right now.
I don't know if he would fit with the, I don't know if he'd start wearing a suit or whatever. Dom would
He
probably
might.
just
He'll start wearing a suit with cut off sleeves.
Right, yeah, that's true. He
And
could wear
keep it real dirty.
That's true. And then Finn, the reason I'm saying this is because it seems like Finn is the instigator here. He's bringing in the new girl to try and throw off the relationship between Dom and
Well,
Liv.
even his face when
Right,
the
he's in the
confrontation
background.
happened, he's sitting there laughing. It was great.
Wait, question. Wasn't it Finn that brought Liv originally back in when mommy was gone? Wasn't he the one that brought her around
Yeah,
if my mind serves me right?
right, and it was her and him, and then she ended up liking Dom better or whatever, or the response to them, the Dom,
Right.
whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
The response was better paired when Dom was paired with Liv. Like that was the original. I think that was the original time where it was like, oh, the Judgment Day's got tension because these two guys are going after the same girl, and they've been teasing tension, and like they've already had a couple people leave. Damien and Ray both left, and the group kind of keeps rolling on. But it's so different from how it started with Edge.
It's comical now compared to how
Right.
how-
It was, and it was more like like I don't know, not necessarily goth kind of biker. Like I don't know, they call it like the hangout. Like they really try to make it like a biker gang, and then they just like threw in Carlito and all these comedy characters, and it's like not really a biker gang anymore.
Carlito's great. You better stop eating her nuggies. Well, and then this leads into Kairi Sane versus Liv Morgan, and Roxanne causes a distraction. She claims to be trying to help, but it ultimately costs Liv Morgan the match. So that just adds more to the dissension within the Judgment Day.
Yeah, that whole thing is again. This is another thing where Roxanne and Raquel, they'll eventually, Raquel's going to pair with one of these two. She's going to go with Liv, or Liv's finally going to stay with Liv, or Liv's going to get mad at her and she's going to go with Roxanne. And we just, it just started. They just started teasing all of this with that backstage interaction and this match. So we just got to see what comes next. It's just one of those. Tune in next week for the further adventures of turmoil in the Judgment Day.
Yeah. Lyra Valkyria comes out, cuts a promo, gets interrupted by Becky Lynch. Promo got a little personal. I don't know. Lyra kind of fell flat for me.
She doesn't do it for me. She doesn't.
I just, and it's nothing against her. She's great in the ring.
Well, she needs more work on the mic. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Needs
I
more
mean, that
work
was
on
one of her better promos, I guess, but it still kind of fell flat for me. And then you had your main event, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins squeaks out the victory.
Well, and you forgot everybody's favorite, Karrion Kross, telling Sami Zayn that he's never going to win the big one.
Oh,
Yep.
right, that was backstage. Yeah.
And
And
he's
that's
right.
another
He was
thing
right.
too. They something you got to start giving this guy at least squash matches. Get him in the ring. He's hot right now. He has one of the hottest selling shirts after his promo in WrestleMania. And it's been how long since WrestleMania? And this guy has had what, 2 matches, if that, not even. Like something's got to give, man. Put this guy on. Like you're wasting
I
time
agree.
with other people that
Are
aren't
you
doing shit.
are you saying that you want them to push somebody who's organically over? Do you know how many times we've wished
Yeah.
that they pushed
It's a
somebody
sin.
that's
That's
organic?
a WWE sin.
It's like Bray Wyatt in 2013 through 2019 or whatever it was. Zack Ryder, Bad News Barrett. I mean, the list goes on of guys that like Cesaro, just like organically over guys that people like. The only one that ever really worked was Daniel Bryan.
Fucking
got
Damien Sandow.
Damien
Remember when he
Sandow,
was so over?
they would never. He won a Money in the Bank. They were never
Yeah.
going to put a world title on him. He won the Money in the fucking Bank because he was over.
Right,
And
that's true.
yeah, so you just hope they recognize. Listen, they fired him and brought him back how many times now? Somebody recognizes his worth. They have to now. At as you said, Al, this is probably his hottest point in the WWE. The
Now
fans
they
are
got to pull the
recognize-
trigger.
Exactly. They just have to execute now.
Yep,
We are getting
we
to the
sure
top
do.
of the hour. Vince, you
I'm
want to
sure
go
Dave
over
Abby's
your
smiling somewhere.
AEW?
Yeah, and you're right, Al. Somewhere Dave Abbey is smiling because his boy is getting over. Finally, I'm gonna pull up the AEW Double or Nothing card real quick. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing because it was a 4.5 hour show. which meant I was up very late and then had to work early the next morning. So that was fun. But absolutely worth it, worth the price of admission, whatever subscription or whatever you're paying for it. If you're not paying for it, even better. If you're pirating it, go get a replay. I actually have the replay paused on my TV upstairs right now. Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter was another of the that was the women's Owens final, Owen Hart tournament final. And I thought, and a lot of people assumed, Jamie Hayter was going to win, and Mercedes Moné won. So now we've got, I guess for the first time ever in a singles match, I didn't realize this was accurate because they were both in WWE around the same time. You've got Timeless Toni Storm, who's the women's world champion, and you've got Mercedes Moné, who is your TBS champion, amongst other independent championships.
How many belts she have now? 4 or 5?
She lost the New Japan Strong Women's Championship a couple weeks ago, which is why
first loss since she came back.
That was her first loss, and it was on New Japan TV. It aired in Japan, and if you have the New Japan streaming service, so nobody in the United States saw it. Gosh, I don't even know. A Joshi, a Japanese female wrestler.
I'm assuming she's way over to beat fucking Moné.
Yeah. They picked whoever their it girl is to put a title on. And then so she's still got Rev Pro. She's got the Queen of the South Side. She's got the TBS, that's 3, and now she's got the Owen Hart belt. And she came out with that. She came out with all 4 at the press conference. So now she said I'm Mercedes 4 belts again. So there we go.
And they don't give belts out for the Owen Hart anymore, right? It's just
they do. They gave
what I understand.
They gave out a belt. Yeah, they gave the belt is more decorative because it's not the same belt every year because engraved on it is like 2025. So every year they just get a commemorative belt for the person who wins, and then the trophy is this. It's almost like the Stanley Cup. The trophy stays the same every year, and then everybody
put your name on it.
Yeah, and then they just kind of give you the belt to take home as a reminder that you won it. So you don't keep the actual big silver trophy. It's just like you pose with it, and then they just take it around and show it off.
So kind of like the Andre the Giant trophy.
Right, yeah, they wheel it out for the tournament, wheel it back, and then to represent it, those people usually wear the belt from now through All In. They'll bring that belt to the ring with them, and then afterward they won't, and then it'll be reintroduced next year for the next tournament.
Right, WWE creators have to be losing sleep at night for the fact that Owen Hart was one of the best technical wrestlers to ever step foot in a WWE ring. Mm-hmm. And AEW beat him they didn't beat him to the punch. They came out with it because they should have done that fucking tournament years ago.
Yeah, but there's no Martha Hart.
There were a lot of legal issues involved.
They want nothing. Okay. That family wants nothing to do with WWE right now. So that's why they went with AEW. They felt like AEW was
respected
them, the legacy of Owen, and also like workers' safety and stuff. Like they feel like AEW does a lot of stunts, but from what I understand, they take as many precautions as they can to make these stunts happen. Unless it's Jack Perry jumping through fucking glass, then who fucking knows? But,
gentlemen, I don't mean to be rude. I'm outside in my car doing this thing. I'm about to go back in. They're giving me the sign that the Knicks 4th quarter is about to start.
Ooh.
Love you guys.
I'll see you later.
Knicks in 6, hopefully. I'll talk to you guys later in the week. All right, bro.
You got
it. See you.
So you want to do your rundown?
Mercedes Moné beat Jamie Hayter, which was a complete upset. FTR against Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness was great. Kind of the finish I expected, where FTR has to go over because they just turned heel a little while ago, so they have to go over. And Daniel Garcia passed out instead of tapped out, so he looks okay. Nigel looked great despite not wrestling for a decade and then coming back and wrestling, these last few, like a half a dozen times. So he still looks great. He should. I'm glad he can get out there. Ricochet beat Mark Briscoe in a great stretcher match, just like a bloody hardcore match and scissor spots and Ricochet's got the scissors now. There was a point where Mark Briscoe had Ricochet in a headlock, and he got a spray bottle of Windex, and he sprayed the top of Ricochet's head, and then he got a rag out and polished his head as everybody chanted bald. That's just wonderful. Let's see here. Hurt Syndicate against the Sons of Texas. That's Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. That was probably one of the weaker matches on the show, but still a good match. The only reason I say it's a weaker match is because there was no build-up between the two tag teams. Like, they just kind of announced it, and then they did some promos against each other. There really wasn't anything that seemed to, like... There wasn't like a feud, like a blood feud for the titles. So there wasn't a lot at stake other than the championships. Kazuchika Okada beat Speedball Mike Bailey in another great match for the Continental Classic Championship. Speedball's a great addition to the roster. Okada, despite him wanting to hang around the mid card and joke around with people, is still one of the best wrestlers on the planet. And he can turn it on whenever he wants, and he turned it on Sunday night. Timeless Toni Storm retained her title against Mina Shirakawa. I mean, what can I say? Another great, Mina's a great addition to the roster. Toni Storm's been solid these last 18 months for AEW, carrying that women's division. She's the best. And we had Anarchy in the Arena. Anarchy in the Arena, if you're not going to watch anything, all right, the main event, yes, watch that. But Anarchy in the Arena, if you are a wrestling fan of a certain era and a certain age, if you liked ECW, if you liked the early Attitude Era stuff, if you liked just garbage wrestling with unpredictable stunts, this was the match for you. Just to this point, Steve, I don't know if you've seen it. There's a tradition. It started after New Jack died to play a song on loop as everybody's fighting in Anarchy in the Arena. And every year it's different. One year it was Judas, and then one year it was Wild Thing for Moxley, et cetera, et cetera. This year it started with I'm So Excited by the Pointer Sisters because he played that for the Dynamite the first New Year's Dynamite, and everybody kind of goofed on him on the internet because Tony likes that song. So he played, and then Kenny Omega gets in the ring. He's like, turn that shit off, right? And it's like, what? He's like, we need some like early 2000s alt rock metal shit, all right? And he says, yeah. And he's play the music, right? They start playing Bodies by Drowning Pool.
Nice.
The whole crowd, let that bodies hit and everybody's jumping. Fly! And they're all jumping up and down as the song starts up. Let the bodies hit the floor. Swerve hits a dive out of the ring onto like 5 guys, and they played the song once. It looped. I'm like, oh god, they're playing it again. It looped like the 3rd time. I'm like, what do we do? By like the 4th or 5th time this song looped, I was laughing my ass off. They let it play forever.
That's
then,
so funny.
As is tradition, they have to find a way to stop the music. They had Cesaro do a giant swing with Swerve, and he swung Swerve into a big fake speaker cabinet, and the cabinet busted open, and then the music stopped because one speaker broke. I don't know if you know, that's not how music works, but hey, that's how we did it. But it was a great match. It was everything that you would want, exploding tables and whatever else. Swerve advertising his new sneakers. He has a new pair of Reeboks coming out, so they put thumbtacks on the bottom of the Reeboks, and he did the Swerve stomp from the top rope onto one of the Young Bucks. And it was like they got a bunch of shots of the sneakers. I'm like, what a marketing geniuses. We had a 6-man Don Callis family against Paragon, which is the former Undisputed Kingdom. A good match, but like it was there as the come down match between Anarchy in the Arena and the main event. And it was, the crowd definitely relaxed during that because they knew what was coming up. Still a good match. It was a 4.5-hour show. Maybe we don't put that one on, but anyway, last but not least, our main event was the final for the men's Owen Hart tournament, and it was Hangman beat Will Ospreay. Shocker to me. I mean, it was
that was a shocker all around.
And the good news is we figure as fans, whoever wins this tournament is beating Moxley at All In. Like, it just that has to be the point. It's AEW's WrestleMania. You do the title change there. So everybody kind of thought it was going to be Ospreay's crowning as the first champ, his first championship run, blah, blah, blah. He's the new top guy. Listen, Adam Page has made his case with the promos and the way, the crowd reaction. There was no wrong choice in this match as to who wins, but I just thought it was going to go the other way. So now we've got, if it goes the way we think it's going to go, Adam Page beats Moxley, and then does that set up Ospreay wanting a rematch with Hangman down the line, and this time it's not for the Owen, it's for the world title. I don't know. There's a world of possibilities open for the AEW title as soon as Moxley loses it, because once he loses it, that's all comers now.
Right.
Not that he hasn't been taking all comers, but it's just like there's a certain, when Moxley holds the title, there's a certain level of guy that has to challenge for it. And when the other guys hold it, you can bring in some of the TNT contenders and whatever, and they can put on a good show. Or it can be a little bit more unpredictable because it's like Moxley's so, presented as such a top-level guy, he's so hard to beat that by comparison, anybody else holding the title is a little more vulnerable. So you get more challengers that way.
Right.
Ooh, excuse me. But,
so, yeah, sounds like everyone who hasn't seen it should definitely go check it out.
Yeah, man.
And that brings us to the top of the hour.
Yes. I guess now is the time for a brief correction for all of the people on TikTok, you bunch of nudges. Yes, I guess Jey Uso was the Intercontinental Champion for a literal cup of coffee one day. I don't know when this was. I'm not bothering to look it up because I'll tell you this, it wasn't a memorable title reign. Can I name one match he had during that title reign? No. So last week when I said that it's his first singles championship, excuse the error. I just forgot when Intercontinental Champion Jey Uso took over the fucking wrestling world with his 5-star matches and his 2.5-year-long title reign. Oh wait, that didn't happen. Whatever. I don't begrudge you, the comments. Please comment more. Comments only help us pop up in the algorithm more. And if my lack of knowledge of Jey Uso's fucking entire career, if that bothers you, let me know. Tell us about it in the comments.
Well, some of them do.
They definitely do. And listen, if they did, and we put it this way, I'll look at it from a positive light. If they didn't comment on it, I would have no clue that it even happened because.
We love it.
All right. Last week, Dollars to Donuts series, Steve, I got to know. Did you remember when I said that? Did you remember that Jey Uso was Intercontinental Champion at any point?
It slipped my mind for sure.
Was it last year? Was it 2 years ago? I feel like it was recent.
Well, he beat Gunther.
Oh, fuck.
Right? Or no, that was Sami Zayn.
That was Sammy.
That was Sammy. Yeah, see, so
this is what we're saying.
The Pain Train 74, respectfully, if you don't know who holds the titles or what's going on with wrestling, don't talk about it. These two are 2 and 3 of the most over guys right now, which shows you have no idea what's going on in WWE. Pedro Parker. Bro, I swear everyone thinks they can have a podcast now. Y'all don't even know what you're talking about. Y'all saying Jacob spelled Jakob, by the way.
Okay.
And Dom elevated the mid-card titles, yet a few seconds earlier you didn't even know Jacob was U.S. champ by saying Solo.
Listen, I hate to say all Samoan people look alike, and they don't. But, I mean, goddamn, when you see the two of them on screen next to each other, every single segment, maybe, and they're cousins, and they've been in a faction together for a fucking year, Pedro, maybe you just mix up people's names because you see two big Samoan motherfuckers standing next to each other, and you might be dyslexic. Listen, I've been dealing with this my whole life. I mix up names. I mix up numbers. On the radio the other day, I said the top 40 instead of the top 400 because I'm fucking dyslexic. Shit happens, man. Also, Pedro, just a note. Anybody can have a podcast. You too can literally have a podcast for free. It ain't that hard. Like, you can absolutely just turn a microphone or a camera on and speak your piece about pro wrestling, which seems like you have a lot of thoughts about it because you're in the comments on our TikTok videos. So if you have so many comments, why don't you know what? We'll send you the link, Pedro. Vote for Pedro. We'll send you the link.
Vote for Pedro.
Fucking vote for Pedro. All right. No, again, I'm half serious here. Listen, comment all you want. I don't give a fuck that I don't care about Jey Uso enough to know that he was IC champion or remember that it happened. I apologize. Mea culpa. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go to confession on Sunday and say a couple Hail Marys. All right, this is the end of the show where we tell you that you can follow us at Tag Me a Date, no spaces on most social media. That's our Instagram, that's our Facebook, that's our Twitter/X. It's all that stuff. Just look it up at Tag Me a Date. If you go to TikTok, it is the War Report Podcast. Subscribe there. The Instagram and the TikTok get reels and short clips of the show that you can complain about in the comment section. Or maybe just hit the like button. I don't know. Maybe just be cool and hit the like button. If you want to watch the show, the best way to do it is to either like our Facebook page, which again is Tag Me a Date, and then you hit the thumbs up next to it and you'll follow the page. Or you can go to YouTube. You go to Tag Me a Date on YouTube, you hit the subscribe button, and you hit the bell to get notified when we upload a new video or go live. We go live Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Adjust your clocks accordingly. And if you prefer an audio version instead of a video version of the podcast, go to your favorite podcast app. Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts. Look for the Tag Me Date. Look for War Report. You will see the logo that's either up in the corner or behind me. Hit the subscribe button. And within an hour of the show going off the air, the podcast will be delivered to you so you can take it with you on the road, doing your laundry, to the gym, wherever it is that you need an audio podcast. And with that, we will all see you next week. Thank you, Nature Boy 420, David Roska, Jassim, Ryan, and everybody else in the comments. Have a great week, everybody. We will see you 9 p.m. next Tuesday.